Let's use here the previous program where we have this circle following the mouse to introduce a new function called dist. Dist will give us the distance between 2 points. And what is the distance between 2 points? Let's imagine here we have our screen, and our screen is 500 pixels wide and 400 pixels tall. So if we would draw this point here, located at 0, 0, what's the distance between this point and the top right corner, which is at 500, 0? Well, this distance here is 500. It's very easy to see when they are in a straight line, but when they are not in the same horizontal or vertical position, but for example somewhere here, this distance is harder to calculate. You need to know some math, or you can use a function that processing provides, which is called dist. This takes 4 parameters, which are the x and y values of the first point, this point here, and the x and y value of the second point. So we would enter here dist x, y, x, y. And this returns a number. So we can type float d equals distance xy, xy. So let's see that in action. So we have this program here after we have drawn the circle and we have calculated the new position of the circle. I'm going to say here float d equals the distance between x, y, that's the first point, and the second point is mouse x, mouse y. So now in d we have the distance between where the circle is and where is the mouse. The distance between the place where we are and the place where we want to go. I can just type here, let's print it for now, print ln d. So I'm gonna print this distance. And you can see when I move the mouse, it increases, and now it's going near 0. Well, now you see it a bit strange notation, this e minus 5. You can say 6.823938 e minus 5. That means that it's a very, very small number. What could we do with this information? Let's add a condition here, like if the distance is less than 10, then let's do something. We could then draw another ellipse around that ellipse. I'm gonna draw an ellipse at x, y. Let's make a bigger one, 50, 50. But if it's also a red point, it just becomes big when we are near it. We could draw a line instead of a filled circle. So I'm gonna say that this ellipse should not be filled. No fill. And use stroke instead. Stroke 255, 0, 0. So it's gonna draw a red line around the other circle. And now to return things back to normal, I'm gonna say fill 255, 0, 0. And we don't need the stroke. I think we didn't have a stroke at the beginning. Yeah, right. Here we had no stroke, so I'm returning these settings to normal. So the next time we draw this ellipse, it's a red circle without a border. So let's see this now working. See, now when the distance is less than 10, we get this circle around it. We could say even less than 1. That would mean we have reached really the destination. So when it stops moving, it draws this circle. So let's change the program, and instead of following the mouse, let's tell the program to randomly decide where it is going next. We are at x and y, and we want to go to destination x and destination y. So when the program starts in the setup, it randomly decides where are we going to go. Destination x is random from the width. So it's a number between 0 and the width. And destination y is random height. So now these two variables, destination x and destination y, indicate a random point in the screen. Now let's replace all these variables here where it says mouse x. Let's say dest x, dest y, Same thing here, destination X, destination Y. So now it will just work one time because it goes to a random position and that's it. Now we could change the program and say that when the distance is less than 1, so that means we are there. In that case, let's comment these lines out. In that case, give me another random destination. So I'm going to copy those 2 lines here. So when we are there, go somewhere else. Go to this new random X and random Y. So now we have there the point. It animates towards random destinations, and each time it's arriving, then it's deciding, oh, I want to go somewhere else. Finally, to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm gonna cut all these lines here, and I'm going to type here if d is less than 50. So it's gonna do 2 different things. One thing is really when it has reached the destination, when we are at a very close distance. But when we are at a short distance, but not there yet, there draw a circle around it. So when we are at less than 50 pixels, in that case, let's draw this circle we had before. We just removing, we don't want fill, we want a red border, we draw the ellipse with this size, and again, we set the red fill and no border. So you can see that now every time when it's approaching the destination, he gets this red border. And instead of using a constant size here, we could do something like, say, use a size of 100 minus d. What does that mean? Well, 100 minus d is 100 minus the distance. The distance is getting closer to 0. When we are approaching the destination, the distance is 10, 9, 7, 8. So the size of this circle gets bigger. So in the moment when we reach the destination, this ellipse should be 100 pixels wide and tall. So let's see this working now. Let's see what happens. So you can see now that when the circle is approaching the destination, it has this growing circle. And when it hits the destination, then it decides to go somewhere else. This circle is only shown for the last part of each animation. So now you know that there is a function called dist that can tell you the distance between any 2 points in the screen. If you want to know how far the mouse is from something, or how far an object is from one corner, or maybe from another object, then you can use this function and then decide what to do with this information.